Hello Sunday people, how are we all? Now, are you not confident in the kitchen? Well then this one is for you. Today, if you hadn't guessed it, we're tackling oats. Super cheap, super versatile, and absolutely delicious in any which way you want to make them. We're covering porridge, overnight oats, and crunchy granola clusters. If that sounds like a bit of you and you want to learn something new, 3 easy ways to make breakfast a little less stressful, then come with me, because this week we are tackling oats. So first on this oaty journey, we are talking granola. If you're looking for any of these recipes, head to my website, the link's in the description box down below, and you can find everything you need there. Not only about oats, but lots of other good stuff too. Granola, we've seen a million TikToks on it, we've watched a million things on Instagram, now it's your turn. You can customize it however you like. Coconut in, coconut out, nuts in, nut butter in, vanilla, cinnamon, chocolate, whatever you like, fruit, no fruit. You can literally put anything in this. Allergic to nuts, put seeds in instead. I could go on forever. This is just my recipe for it. It's quick, simple, easy to put together, and better for you. The stuff you buy at the shops, often lots of extra added sugar, not when you make it at home. This stuff, you can make it, can last for a month. That is, if it lasts that long, because often in my house, it doesn't. So what I like to do for granola is get everything ready to go, and then be able to get it all onto a tray to go into the oven. So turn your oven onto 180. That is the first thing you need, because this takes merely minutes to assemble. You can either use scales or you can use cups, whichever you like. And this recipe is merely a guideline. You want more nuts in it, put more nuts in it. You want less oats in it, put less oats in it. Whatever you want, you can. And what I like to do as well, because I'm going to use some coconut oil. If you don't want to use coconut oil, you could use olive oil, in which case you wouldn't need to do this. But I like to just warm it up slightly so that everything can get coated. So I'm going to put my pan on the scales, tear the scales, and then we're going to start weighing everything out. I'm going to add my coconut oil. Oh, classic, the scales have turned off. So we need 80 grams of coconut oil or olive oil if you're using that, and the same amount of honey. Make sure your scales don't turn off. If it's a little bit over, doesn't matter. Also, apologies for the washing up. I just realized I left all my stuff there. Sorry about that. Let's get it tidied. That's better. As you can see, it's actually morning time here while I'm making this recipe, and oats are a fantastic thing to eat for breakfast. They keep you going, they're nutritional, and this granola paired with some yogurt and some fruit, absolute win. So this I'm going to pop on the stove and just melt it so that coconut oil has dissolved. It just makes it easier to incorporate into everything that you're making. So now let's get the dry ingredients together. So I'm going to take 2 cups of oats. We're going to go 1 cup of nuts. But with the nuts, what I like to do here is give them a little chop, because that way there's a little bit of nut with every bite. You don't want the nuts to be fully crushed, you just want them slightly cut up so that there's a little bit to go with every bit of granola. So we'll add them into the oats. I just use a bag of mixed nuts, but if you had, say, pecans, you could make this into like a pecan pie vibe. So versatile, it's crazy. So now to this, I'm gonna add half a teaspoon of cinnamon. I like to add it in here first into the dry so that I can mix it all together before the wet is added. You want to go for a good season of salt, because the salt brings out the sweet, and it just means that it doesn't have that crazy sweetness, but is still sweet. I've got a little 1/3 of a cup of desiccated coconut. This again could be flakes, it could be like this, whatever you like, but the flakes, if you put them in, be careful because they can catch quite quickly. So what I might do is add them in the last 5 or so minutes of cooking so that they don't get too burnt. And then the final thing that I'm going to add to this is raisins. You could add any fruit you like, anything dried, apple, mango, cherries, cranberries, apricots, dried banana. anything you like you can put in there. Whatever is your favourite or your kid's favourite, pop it in. But we don't add them into the oven, because once we put this on here, what we want to do is let it set so we can get big clusters, and then we will add this through at the end so that there is a little bit of raisin in there, but it doesn't get baked. Also, because if it bakes, they start to expand, they can burn easy, and then that sugar makes them, that's in the dried fruit, can make it go really hard. Also, if you don't want dried fruit, don't put it in. And then we add the liquid. And once it's all mixed up, we lay it on the tray. And that's it. Spread out and into the oven it goes. We're going to put it in the oven for half an hour and then it will be done. So the granola has come out of the oven. My oven, as you can see here, cooks a little hotter towards the back. Not ideal, but I smelt it. So it actually ended up being in the oven for 20 minutes, not 30. So let that be a warning to you. If you know that your oven runs a little bit hot, keep an eye on it. So I would suggest put your alarm on for 20 and have a look. Give it 1 or 2 minutes to cool down because it will be very hot. Add in your raisins and mix that together while it's still a little warm, and then leave. And we're going to come back to this, and as you can see here, they're starting to cool, but they will cool in these amazing clumps. So you don't want to really break it up too much, you just want them raisins to warm up with all the other stuff. So we'll leave this for half an hour at least, because we want it to get real cold so that we can break it up, and then that's the granola done. And here it is, it's cooled down. We've got these amazing big chunks that are all stuck together. It's crisp. Oh, yum. This is why it's important that you don't break it up, because you want these big chunks. But inevitably, you will also get these little bits, but it's like perfectly crisp toasted oats. Oh, they just taste delicious. Tiny little bit of salt, hint of the sweetness, and that little bit of warming cinnamon. Oh, honestly, yum. Oh, so good. So pop it all in your jar. This is the bit where it goes everywhere. Sure enough, it has. You can pop on the lid, but this is where you have to make sure it is fully cold, because if there's a little bit of warmth in there, it's going to condensate on the inside of the jar, and all your hard work of making it crispy crunchy will go to pot, and it will be soggy and disgusting. So make sure it's cold, pop on the lid, and into the cupboard it goes. But that is that. So let's move on to the next one. Next up, overnight oats. We thought granola was easy. This is even easier. No cooking needed, mix it together into the fridge. Bob's your uncle, breakfast for tomorrow. This is the ultimate fast food, so let's get it together. Half a cup of oats, 1/4 cup of yogurt. For this, I'm using vanilla. You can use totally plain, add a little bit of maple syrup, that way you can control your sugar amount. But this is delicious, I like the taste of it, so it's going in. Oh, it really is yum. It's so thick and creamy. Delicious. And then 2 times 1/3, so that's 2/3 of a cup of milk. For this one, I'm going to put in some raspberries. But if you head to my website, I've got 4 other variations on what you could do. Plus, if you were a vegan, you could use coconut yogurt and a plant-based milk. You can put anything you like in this. It is the ultimate seasonal breakfast. Peaches are in season. Make a nice peach compote. Maybe don't even make a compote. Just smash them on the top. I mean, you could put in some cocoa powder. Honestly, I could go on and on and on. You could even not use milk-based things and go birch and muesli vibes, and we put in apple juice. That is also delicious. So I'm going to add in a few little raspberries, mix it up, put it in your bowl, back on your lid, and off to the fridge we go. And as if by the magic of me doing some work yesterday, we've got some overnight oats. But what happens is it soaks up the liquid and you end up with a nicely hydrated, deliciously vanilla-y oat mixture, ready to go for whatever you want. So let's get this one plated up. I'm gonna add in a little teaspoon of some peanut butter, a bit of very old banana that was in the fridge from yesterday that I didn't finish eating. Mix that up, and that's it. You can even add that stuff yesterday. It might not look very pretty, but this is a great on-the-go snack. But if you are having it at home, let's make it look a little bit fancier. Put your delicious creamy oats into a glass, decorate the top with some lovely slices of banana, and sprinkle with a few toasted nuts and a little bit of that granola. Yum. The most simple, easy overnight oats. And like I said, if you're looking for some different flavour combos, head to my website. The link is in the description box down below. And now it's on to the third and final, Oats of 101, porridge. And here we are at porridge. Very similar ingredients to the last one. This is where it's slightly up to you. I personally make mine with water and add the milk either towards the end or just on top when it's done. Or if I have some cream, I'll add some cream. I do wish I had cream for this because cream really does make it decadent AF. But the reason why I use water in the beginning is because milk can scald and it's easy then to burn your oats, and that is something you do not want. So I always use water to cook and then milk or cream to finish. This one's a great one for the winter. Overnight oats, great for the summer. Fresh, cold, easy to eat in the morning. This warms you up from the inside first thing when it's chilly outside. And again, only takes minutes to make. So let's get on to it, shall we? It's a 2-to-1 ratio, 2 water, 1 oats. So 1 cup of oats. That's probably quite a big portion for one. It might serve 2, and then 2 cups of water. And that's it. A tiny twist of salt, but do be careful not to overdo it, because once when me and my boyfriend started seeing one another, I don't know what I was thinking, but somehow I seasoned the hell out of it and we had salty porridge, so be warned. This I'll save for at the end. This goes back in the cupboard and these go to the stove. You want to cook this on a low temperature. You don't want it to boil too quickly, because then oats, what you want is for them to slowly absorb the water. So it probably will take 5 to 6 minutes on the stove, stirring constantly, and then we're ready to go. And that's it. Do be careful though there, as you can see towards the end, it does get slightly volcanic, pushing out them huge amounts of steam. So make sure you're watching it and keep giving it a stir. What I like to do is let it sit for just a minute. You can get anything else you might want to have with it ready, and either you can add your milk and your cream now, or you can put it in the bowl and add some milk and the cream. Personally, if I'm going milk, I'm gonna add a little now. If I was going cream, I'd add it to the bowl, because I just love a little bit of that cream on its own. But as we've got milk, I'm gonna go into the porridge. And as you can see there, it sits on top, and just slowly mix it in for 1 minute. Also, what's quite good is when you add that cold, it just cools it down a little bit, because, as I said, very hot. So now that's all incorporated, you can add it to your bowl and add whatever you like. And my favourite way to have it is with brown sugar, sprinkled over the top. It all starts to melt, and oh my God, it's delicious. I also had some black Doris plums, kind of like damson plums in the UK, to sit on top with a little bit of their syrup. And that is it. Porridge, easy, simple, quick and cheap. As you can see there, that brown sugar has melted in and you get this wonderful sugary bite with each mouthful. The easiest winter breakfast, totally customizable and any way you like it. So that is the end of oats. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, learned something along the way. If you want any more of this type of video, I've got my Learn to Cook series. The playlist is added in the description box down below, and there you can find simple tutorials on very easy things. Otherwise, take a look through, head to my website, you'll find plenty of recipes there for all kinds of other stuff. Breads, cakes, whole meals, all sorts of things, the whole lot's covered. But that's it for this week. So I'm gonna go eat this amazing bowl of delicious porridge Oh, honestly, the sugar on the top is the one. So I'll see you guys all next Sunday. Have a good one. See ya.